Fear, the invisible enemy that chains your mind, weakens your spirit, and keeps you from reaching your true potential. It whispers in the dark, making you believe you are powerless. It convinces you that you are not strong enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. But fear is a lie. The greatest warriors, the strongest minds, and the most unstoppable souls were not born fearless. They were forged in the fire of fear itself. They stood at the edge of darkness, trembling, uncertain, but instead of running, they walked into the abyss and conquered it. Your fear is a test. It is a question from life itself. How bad do you want this? Will you let fear be your master, or will you bend it to your will? To destroy fear, you must do 3 things. The more you avoid fear, the stronger it becomes. But when you confront it, when you step into the fire, you rob it of its power. Fear thrives on hesitation. Kill hesitation and fear dies with it. Your darkest fears are your greatest teachers. They expose your weaknesses, your doubts, and your deepest insecurities. But when you stop running and start listening, you begin to understand that fear was never your enemy, it was your training ground. Every time you stand your ground, you strip fear of its control. And finally, you must rise above it. Fear wants to keep you small, trapped in a cycle of uncertainty. But you were not meant to live in the shadows. You were meant to rise, to conquer, to take what is yours. The moment you decide that fear no longer has a place in your mind, you become unstoppable. Pain will come. Doubt will whisper. The darkness will try to pull you back. But you must remember this: you are stronger than the fear that haunts you. You are greater than the obstacles in your way. Step forward. Walk through the fire. Embrace the struggle. Because on the other side of fear is the life you were meant to live. No one is born fearless, but the strongest among us are those who choose to act in spite of their fears. Fear will try to paralyze you, to hold you back from taking that risk, from chasing that dream, from becoming who you were meant to be. But fear is nothing more than an illusion, a shadow that grows only when you give it power. When you stop fearing failure, you start moving toward success. When you stop fearing pain, you begin to build resilience. And when you stop fearing the unknown, you finally become free. Most people live their entire lives as prisoners of their own minds, shackled by the weight of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But not you, not anymore. Today is the day you break the chains. Today is the day you rise above the fear that has kept you in the dark for too long. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. Everything you need is already inside you. Strength, courage, resilience, it's all there, waiting for you to awaken it. So stand tall, grit your teeth, and walk forward even if your legs shake. Because fear only wins if you let it. But you were never meant to kneel before fear. You were meant to destroy it. And when you do, the world will finally see you for what you truly are: unstoppable. The moment you decide that fear no longer controls you, everything changes. The chains that once held you back begin to break. The doubts that once clouded your mind start to fade. And the weakness that once kept you small transforms into unshakable strength. Fear will test you. It will try to break you. It will push you to your limits and whisper in your ear that you are not enough. But in that moment, when you stand face to face with your darkest fear, you must make a choice. Do you surrender or do you fight? Because on the other side of fear is power. On the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side of fear is the life you were meant to live. Every great warrior, every legend, every unstoppable force in history had to walk through the fire of fear. They felt the same doubt, the same uncertainty, the same pain. But instead of letting it consume them, they used it as fuel. So now it's your turn. The world will try to make you doubt yourself. People will try to break you, but the truth is nothing, and no one can stop a person who has conquered their own fear. You were not born to live in the shadows. You were not created to bow to fear. You were made to rise, to dominate, to stand in the face of the impossible and shatter it. So take that step, break that barrier, face that fear. Because once you do, nothing will ever stand in your way again. The battle is not won in a single moment. Fear will return. It will creep back into your mind when you least expect it, when you're alone, when you're vulnerable, when you're standing at the edge of something great. It will try to reclaim its hold on you. But this time you will not bow. This time you will not hesitate. Because now you understand the truth. Fear is nothing without your permission. It has no power unless you feed it. And now you have tasted what it feels like to be free to stand in the face of your greatest enemy and refuse to back down. So what will you do? Will you allow fear to creep back in? Will you let it whisper lies into your mind, convincing you that you are not ready, that you are not strong enough? Or will you stand tall, unwavering, and crush it beneath your will? You have already come this far. You have already taken the first step. And once you start walking this path, there is no turning back. Because the moment you embrace your strength, the moment you refuse to let fear dictate your life, that is the moment you become unstoppable. Nothing can break you. Nothing can shake you. You are no longer a prisoner to your doubts. You are no longer controlled by the ghosts of your past. You are free. And from this moment forward, you will walk through life knowing one undeniable truth. You are stronger than your fear. You are greater than your doubts. And nothing can stand in your way. Like, comment, and subscribe.